Okay, so now's the time that we pretend like we didn't try to have this conversation, but I forgot to hit the record button. So Pete, welcome to my channel.
Hello, Jack.
Subscribers, for you guys who don't know, this is Pete from the Pete on Purpose YouTube channel. Pete is a plant-based personal trainer who does tons of awesome fitness and more recently food challenges, but certainly fitness challenges, and offers a wealth of information for anybody out there who's looking to improve their physique and have a lot of fun with health and fitness, also while on a plant-based diet. So Pete, thanks for taking some time to chat with me and my subscribers here.
You're welcome, Jack.
Now, Pete, I wanted to reach out to you because you've done something really, really cool, and I find it really inspiring. For me, is that you've put on 30 pounds of muscle. Now, that is a lot of weight. First, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So, Pete, first, how did this happen? Like, where were you starting from, and why did you want to put on all this muscle to begin with?
Okay, so I've always been naturally skinny previously, and I just thought that was how I was supposed to be. My body's built and just a lean guy. I had tried to put weight on in the past, but never stuck or it never worked. So I just kind of accepted my fate. And then, and yeah, then I became friends with like a bodybuilder dude when I was in New Zealand. And he pretty much told me everything, like everything you need to know, like track your macros, train hard. He made it sound very simple and achievable, and it kind of guided me in a sense. And for the first time, this about 5 years ago, I started tracking my food, and I realized I'd been drastically under eating and eating like zero protein, probably.
Yep.
So yeah, and then I made simple changes. I upped my protein, I upped my calories, and I noticed my body change. And I was like, wow, that was actually a lot easier than I thought it was. And that was kind of the start of it all. And then I started like delving into nutrition and diet and fitness. And then about a year later, I ended up going vegan with my girlfriend. I lost a couple of pounds because we were like traveling, and trying to eat vegan was quite restrictive, especially like when we were hiking in Nepal and stuff like that. There wasn't that many vegan options. So a lot of the time we ate like buckwheat pancakes was like all we could have. Yeah, so then I finally got back to Canada, and I was like, right, I'm going to get seriously into this. I want to get stronger because I feel, it sounds pathetic, I feel like a weak boy. And I know like I'm a man, like I don't feel strong. I don't feel that energized all the time. Like if I'm doing sports, I feel good, but the majority of the time I don't feel amazing. And yeah, I feel like becoming vegan made me like kind of look into my diet a lot further. And then, yeah, so I just decided I want to get stronger for me, not like to look good. It was more like, I don't feel as capable as I can be, rather to say. And yeah, that was the start of my 2-year bulk, I say it was.
Wow.
When every day it was, at the end, I was on like 4,000 calories a day, drinking these like 1,000-calorie mega smoothies. Like you get so overeating. It sounds like the dream for like the first week or so. But yeah, it gets old. And then I've been kind of dieting down ever since, until the past month where I've started doing some cheat days.
Yeah, I know the feeling. And I think it's really interesting that we're both kind of coming to this point of wanting to put on, we'll say, mass and to feel stronger, not for anybody else or for any necessary like superficial aesthetic reasons, but just because you want to feel like a strong human being.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm coming from it from the obese side, you're coming from it from, the skinny side, but we're both kind of meeting somewhere in the middle. And I think that's kind of interesting. Now, just how skinny were you when you started? Like what kind of weight are we talking about?
I was like, I wish I took more photos and track my like weight and stuff, because at the time I didn't realize I was probably going to transform as much or anything. I kind of have a few pictures. I think I was like 130 or 135 pounds. It may have even been less than that. Like I was light.
Dude, that's how much I've lost.
Wow.
It's like if your past self hopped on my past self and then jumped off, or my current self and then jumped off. That's insane.
Yeah, that's wild.
And then, so you used to be at around 130, 135, and then you said you bulked up. What did you get to?
Yeah, I got to about 180 pounds, something like that.
Holy cow.
The reason I kind of stopped then, because I snowboard a lot, and it was really affecting my snowboards, because snowboards are affected by your weight on like how the balance is distributed. And when I got up to about 180, all my snowboards were getting a bit too small for me. So I was like, I'm going to have to call it quits now, otherwise I'm going to have to start buying new snowboards. But yeah, it's probably a good time to stop for me. Anyway.
Yep. Now I mean, clearly now looking at your videos and everything, your physique is fantastic, and one I'm sure many people would love to have. How long from beginning to end, from when you started to right now, how long has this transformation taken for you?
I'd say realistically, probably like 2 years to get to that end picture. And I've kind of just been staying around there for like the past 2 years, year and a half. As I said, I've kind of made the transition to calisthenics about a year or so ago. So I'm really scared to like put on weight at the moment because I'm struggling so much to try and learn planche and levers. And I know if like my weight goes up, I'm just probably gonna go further back.
Yeah. So now it's more about functional strength and just that deeply strong calisthenic strength that these guys develop.
Yeah.
Cool.
And flexibility, which is I went to Bali on the way back home, and I went to this training camp, and they do like flexibility, mobility, and I was like the worst in every single class. It's so embarrassing. So I really want to work on my functional fitness. You know, like it's good to look good, but it's a lot better to feel and move good.
Oh, dude, I could not agree more. Now, I've done some, you could almost say gimmicky challenges myself, whether it was the push-ups for a year, the abs regularly, and my body transformed, but it was also getting really stiff, and eventually it ended up in a bit of an injury. And since then, I've been stretching a lot more, and I feel better than ever. And and even as part of the personal training, learning and knowledge that I've gained over the years, just the importance of your body being able to move the way that it's supposed to move. So I'm really glad to hear that you've kind of come to the same conclusion or realization that I have as well. Now, when you started your transformation, it sounded like you weren't a vegan. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then you transitioned to vegan nutrition. Were you worried about what being a vegan would do for your, I don't know, energy levels or muscle building ability or your satiation during the day or long-term gains? How was that at the beginning for you? Yeah.
All of the above. So as I say, my idea of nutrition was very short. So all I knew was what my friend told me, the bodybuilder guy. And it was very he was very knowledgeable dude. He was in fantastic shape. But it was all very bro, high protein meals, chicken, broccoli, rice. That's kind of all I knew. Not that I did it much, but I kind of thought, right, that's what you need to eat if you want to look or build muscle. So it was I was just kind of rolling the dice with veganism. I was like, I've got my fitness pal. Everyone on the internet is saying if you don't eat meat, you can't gain muscle. So I kind of almost did a test on myself. I just used my fitness pal. I still hit my protein goals, but it was with beans, legumes, tofu. It's actually fairly easy to hit if you eat whole foods. Like even if you're eating broccoli and cauliflower, they have 5 grams or so of protein. That adds up. Yeah. And I actually don't feel like you need as much protein as it says. And I aim for about 120 grams. Yeah. And I think that's more than enough.
Oh yeah.
So that's 0.7% or.
Yeah, for your weight, you're nailing it. I think about 1.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight is more than enough to be putting on some muscle and some mass. And I mean, besides the legumes and the beans and the other whole foods, I found chickpeas and seitan and tempeh are monster protein sources of protein. And when I added up at the end of the day, I'm probably getting more protein eating this stuff than I have, eating some of the steaks and the chickens, which I find really interesting. And what about your energy levels and your performance while training? How did you find that with the nutrition that you were eating?
I feel like it's definitely improved a lot more. I 100% feel like before my energy, I had to just almost save my energy for the gym, drink a coffee or 2 coffees before, smash the gym, and then I'd just be exhausted afterwards. I definitely feel since going vegan, but maybe it's just I feel like my whole diet's you can take the vegan part away. I think I just eat more whole foods and fruit now, which I didn't eat before. I don't think it's the vegan diet. I think it's just eating whole foods, whole plant-based fruits and vegetables and all legumes. I'm also being aware of what you eat as well. And eat something, seeing how you feel the next day, oh, I don't feel so good. What did I eat yesterday? Maybe that's not good for me. Everybody's bodies are completely different. I know me and Loretta can eat the same meal the next day. One of us is bloated or doesn't feel good. The other person's absolutely fine. Like, we're all completely unique, which is why it's such a unanswered subject. Like, it's one of the only unanswered subjects in the world, isn't it? Like, what is the perfect diet? No one knows. Like, there is not an answer. There's doctors and scientists, there's people saying carnivore, there's people saying vegan. They're right for someone, but yeah, I think everyone just needs to investigate themselves.
And it sounds like you're saying that tracking calories, tracking protein is one thing, you know, maybe tracking your exercise is another thing, but another perhaps underutilized tool is tracking your feelings and your energy and your response to all of it, and actually making a note of, hey, like today I feel like garbage. What did I eat yesterday? Or what did I train yesterday? And then adjusting based on how you feel. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I say, like, tracking is essential. Like, I no longer track, but if you track at the start, you learn it all anyway. Like, I kind of like look at food like Rain Man. I can look at a plate, it's weird, and be like, that's 600 calories, 30 grams of protein, just by looking at it.
Oh, it's hilarious.
But like tracking at the start, like, you learn everything, and then you can, because I track in my head without even thinking now. If I don't feel good or I do feel good, I can almost just like look through. But I tell everyone, track what you eat. If like you're new to this, whether it's veganism or whatever, track your food. You'll be surprised, like, even what's in things. Like, look at it, what's in a mince pie, look at what's in a biscuit before you like shovel 10 of them down at you at Christmas. Like, people just, I know I did, just eat unconsciously. So like, even just tracking makes you aware of what you're putting in, and then it kind of makes you decide whether it's worth it or not.
Yeah, no, solid points. Now I want to go back to your training. Now you're doing a lot of calisthenics and building up that really great like core and functional strength in your whole body. But during those first 2 years when you were bulking and probably putting on, you know, those 30 pounds to begin with, what did your training look like then?
It was very heavily compound focused. So yeah, it'd just be kind of how I train now, but with weights. So I'd start with like a strength exercise, bench, squat, or deadlift. Probably do like low reps, so 5 sets of 5, something like that, work on strength. And then after that, I do 2 to 3 exercises, hypertrophy, and then maybe, so in the 8 to 12 rep range, assistant exercises. So if you're doing bench press, I then do incline bench, maybe chest flies, dumbbell press, and then maybe just some minor accessory work. It's very like bodybuilder style kind of stuff, which I kind of, even just saying it then makes me feel bored now, because I prefer my training so much more now. So I kind of like learn skills and stuff, but at the time I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it's just kind of focused on strength, you know. It's kind of like tracking your food is like very similar. Like, it's kind of almost the same thing. You just track your workouts. You want to get stronger a little bit each time. That's pretty much, as long as you improve every workout, you're going in the right direction.
Awesome. And you don't miss the weightlifting. You can see here I got my home gym set up, and I still love it, man. Like, I've been doing it on and off for years, but I'm really into it now. I still love doing my deadlifts and my squats and my bench. And
I was going to say, the only thing I would enjoy is I'd love to get back to compound movements. I'd love to just do squat, bench, and dead. Yeah. And then just do the rest body weight. For me at the moment, but who knows, like, we're changing all the time. So when I used to lift weights, I thought I'd never do anything else, and I kind of got into body weight training. It's like, wow, actually I really enjoy body weight training. But yeah, who knows. That's what I say at the moment.
And did you have any setbacks along the way?
I've had a few injuries. I think I busted my shoulder, like bench pressing, like with bad form or going too heavy, which literally meant, it actually set me back for like 6 months. I couldn't lift anything heavy, and that was like mid bulk. So then I just kind of did what I could, you know, you focus on leg training and stuff like that. So yeah, that's probably the biggest setback I had. But I kind of enjoy injuries, because now I see injuries as a chance to improve other areas. So if you injure your shoulder, and I think the reason I made it worse, actually, so I hurt it, but then I waited like a week, and I was like, oh, I think like it's feeling better. Bench pressed again. No, it's definitely it's definitely bad.
Words, huh?
And then it was out for like chiropractors and everything to try and get it fixed. But yeah, I use injuries now as a chance to explore other areas. So next time I injure myself, I don't touch that area.
That sounds very familiar. Same thing with my shoulder. Definitely tweaked something along the way, kept going, you know, because I'm so close to finishing, I'll just do it. Then I got to the point
I'll
where
just finish my set for
enough was enough, and my body said no while my mind said yes. And I had to take, you know, some significant time off from push-ups and this sort of training. But like you say, that certainly helped introduce me more into the importance of stretching and flexibility, getting into cardio and jogging, you know, for the first time in my life, and getting more back into some of the other basics, like the other compound movements that may have been neglected during the, you know, my push-up focus, and getting that more well-rounded health and fitness training. Not to mention, you know, nutrition, and you know, the time that was spent doing the push-ups, and now not doing it, you can spend more time thinking about what you eat. Since you can't train to, we'll say, adapt to maybe bad nutrition. Okay, well now I can't train, so I need to focus on the good nutrition. So I think really interesting that you say that as well. And I'm curious, what's next for you? What do you hope to do moving forward with your training, with your nutrition?
My training nutrition. So I'm going to start a diet series actually.
Nice.
So because I think diet, as you probably know, it's simple, but it's not easy. And I think a lot of people don't understand like how simple it is for them to get started. And I kind of want to create a series using myself. So I've kind of just been eating whatever I want. So I've been doing so many challenges for the month of December, kind of trying to get my weight up a little bit. I want to like do a step-by-step beginner's guide, you know, how to get started. Because I have so many friends who have like seen my transformation, or you know, like, oh, give me some tips. And I'm like, you just need to track, you know, it's very simple. So basically I'm going to lay out in the most simple, a step-by-step guide on how to lose fat. It's going to be a 6-week series. And yeah, hopefully it'll help some people out. Because I know all my friends are kind of like, yeah, just before you know, it seems impossible. But when you know, it's very easy. It's kind of like, I don't know, like anything, you know?
Yep. No, I couldn't agree more. Now, I think that's really cool. Something that I've been seeing actually come up a lot now on YouTube and on the internet is this idea that tracking calories doesn't work, and it's not a good approach to weight loss. I mean, what do you think about that, or what do you say to people who say that tracking calories is a waste of time and useless?
I think it's very important. I think the only time it would be a waste of time or useless, I guess, is saying maybe if you eat if you eat a very clean diet, you probably don't need to track. But realistically, how many people are like eating 100% of the time a whole food diet? It's not the world we live in. And I think tracking is important. I think people don't realize that they're popping to Costa for an extra large frothy caramel latte and it's 450 calories, and it's just something they don't even think about, you know? Like, I think for most people, until you've done it for a while, like you're probably the same as me now, you can probably eyeball everything. You'll know everything. Like when you've tracked for long enough, you know. But until you get to that point, you have to track. It's like when you work out, like you can't work out without tracking your workouts. Like you just guess what you've done. Like, what did I lift last week? Well, maybe I lifted this. Like you need to track. Like it's not cool or like trendy, but it's necessary 100%.
Yeah, it's definitely not sexy, you know, when it comes to health and fitness and, you know, putting on muscle and getting a sexy body. Like the last thing you want to do is sit there on your phone or on an Excel spreadsheet, like calculating, oh, how many grams of this did I eat? But again, I couldn't agree more with you. I would say people seem to cop on to tracking your fitness, right? Like, okay, like I did 5 sets of 5 at this weight. Next week I'll go in and try and do, you know, a little bit more, or maybe I'll do 5 sets of 6, or I'll increase the weight, or, you know, there's no issues tracking your exercises. But if nutrition is more important than I think nutrition is more important than your training, even for 100%. Your training results, why can't you spend an extra 10 minutes a day tracking your calories and tracking your macros to get better results, right? Why can't you spend a half an hour calculating what you're going to do in the gym tomorrow and what you've done today, and not do that with the food that you eat? And like you say, like I spent 17 years losing weight. I never really actually consistently tracked. I used the scale, the mirror, my belt, and maybe some before and after photos is my way of tracking. But like you say, I instinctually knew what a good meal was and what a bad meal was for me. And maybe it would be different for other people. And I had a vague idea of how many grams of protein I was getting. But even I've started experimenting with MyFitnessPal, and even some of my assumptions were just totally wrong, man. For anyone out there who is interested in nutrition, lifestyle, vegan nutrition and vegan lifestyle, what do you think is the most important message you have for those viewers right now?
If you want to go vegan, maybe think about why you want to go vegan. Like, there's many reasons. It can be for the animals, can be for the environment, or just to try something new. And don't be so hard on yourself. Like, it's kind of overwhelming when you first start. You kind of, all these foods you can't have, but it's not that scary, and you're not going to get arrested if you fall off the wagon and have like a chocolate bar. Like, no one's out to get you, but just give it a try, see how you feel. And also check out some documentaries. There's quite a few on Netflix. Cowspiracy, Earthlings, Forks Over Knives, The Game Changers. There's heaps of them out now. They might just give you a better understanding of why you're doing it. It might help you, pursue it. There's also some really good YouTubers, Simnett Nutrition and Brian Turner. They're like good vegan nutritionists who, Simnett Nutrition is a nutritionist. So he talks you through like all the different vitamins and minerals you need to be getting in your diet daily as well. So it's kind of good to watch those kind of guys as well, educate yourself, because you do have to be more conscious that you're getting like your omega-3s, your B vitamins, your B12s, because they're all just in meat and fish, but they're easy enough to get on a vegan diet, but you just need to make sure you are getting them or supplement with them.
Nice. What about your most important message for people who are interested in just putting on mass and muscle, regardless of their particular diet choice?
Important muscle. Okay, if you want to gain muscle, think of it like a long diet. It's going to take you a while. Enjoy the process. Enjoy that you get to eat lots of food. Don't just look at yourself getting fat in the mirror. Enjoy eating all the food and enjoy the strength and the energy you'll have. And then, don't worry too much about how you look. Just focus on the end goal, where you're going, and it will happen. You'll get there.
Nice. And what about a message for anyone out there who's interested more in improving quality of life through health and fitness? What would you say to them?
I'd say check out my YouTube channel, because that's what it's all about. Focus on, for me, this is kind of what I'm trying to do on my YouTube channel. Actually, I want to improve all areas of my life, and I think that happens when you do improve your health and fitness. You do realize like, oh wow, changing my diet makes me feel better, and then you start looking into different areas like, oh well, how can I improve my sleep? How can I improve my activity levels? How can I improve my relationship with my partner? And they're all kind of things I'm looking into at the moment. Like, it's like a never ending, you think just getting fit and healthy is going to be the pinnacle, but then that just leads to other areas you want to improve on.
Nice.
I don't know if I answered a question there.
No, that's spot on. And it makes me, what you just said, it makes me think of something else. The idea that, you can set these health and fitness goals, but then what happens after you hit your goal? What do you do after that? I mean, in your case, have you had that experience of you set a goal for yourself, you hit it, and then like, and now what?
A big realization, 100%. So it's like when I hit that, when I got to the physique in the picture, I remember like before I'd be like, oh, that'll be my like life complete if I can get a 6-pack and look good. But then you get there and you're still the same person, and you're like, oh, goals aren't actually, it's like the journey. It's like, it's true what they say, the cliche, the journey is so much more like fulfilling than the actual attaining of the goal. If anything, when you attain the goal, you have to think of a new goal, because then you've got to start another journey. So if anything, you don't really want to attain the goal too quickly. So take your time.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. When I lost 100 pounds for the first time, my friend Christy did the same thing. She reached her goal, and then once you hit it, you're like, all right, well, I've been focusing on this one thing for so long. Now I got it. Nothing's really changed in a way. Like, and now what? And I think developing a lifestyle of health and fitness is then the next challenge. Is how do you keep that up forever? And I'm sure this is a topic that you'll be continuing to explore on your channel, as will I. And aside from your YouTube channel, Pete, where are some other ways that people can find you?
I have an Instagram, Pete on Purpose, a Twitter, Pete on Purpose. That's it so far.
All right, spot on.
Everything's on Pete. I am building a website slowly at the moment, just taking my time, but that will also be Pete on Purpose. Keep it nice and simple for everyone.
Make sure you get the name now before anybody out there hears it and decides to buy it and resell it to you. Well, Pete, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure chatting with you about all things health and fitness, and I wish you all the best in your continued goals and on your YouTube channel as well, and to all your subscribers. So thanks again, Pete.
Thank you, Jack, and I look forward to doing another competition with you.
Yes,
in the new year.
So right now we're 1 to Jack, 0 for Pete, but I think I had the size and history advantage when it came to the eating one. So next time will be a fitness challenge where I think
a fitness one. Yeah,
I think you may have a slight edge on me, depending on the challenge. You never know.
Yeah, you've been practicing push-ups and pull-ups a lot, haven't you?
I've been practicing everything, man. Any just a sneak peek? Any ideas on what that might be, so that I can start practicing?
I actually have no idea. No idea. We'll come up with something together.
All right, spot on. In that case, I look forward to it. And Pete, thanks again for being here. But here we go. All right.
I've done that several times making videos. It's
I tell you, I think my favorite part of the YouTube thing is like coming up with all these ideas and visualizing it. And I have this wonderful vision of what my videos are going to look like, and then I sit down to try and do it, and I realize like 12 hours later I have no idea what I'm doing.